All right, brothers, here we go. It looks like they caught one of Shaquella's, I guess one out of the six people that are allegedly accused of killing Shaquella. And literally, y'all, it's going to be a cold winter. This is just getting started, fresh off the press. I got the website and everything. Got a couple of news. Well, I'm gonna play a news clip so you guys could kind of get up to what's going on. Came out a couple days ago, basically covering it. Honestly, they've been talking about it, but what they're saying is that she got caught in California on the 28th, recently, and literally, they want to get her extradited back, they want to get her basically deported back to Mexico, so she can, I guess justice can be served there. So, Mexico's fucked up in the game right now, so it's a lot of craziness that's about to go on. This is going to be a very interesting case. Literally, shit, I don't even think you need the death penalty. I mean, them jails are fucked up in there. So, some street penal prison system justice might go on. You know what I'm saying? So there's a couple of people that I feel need to be locked up, but I'll add more on my commentary after the news clip that will follow, what we're doing right now. But they want her extradited back to Mexico for her sentencing. And I think what Mexico is going to do is, just to give them a good face, even though it was very corrupted over there, especially where they were at, shit. But, they're going to make an example, out of this group of people, because she going to talk. You know what I'm saying? She's definitely going to talk. Her name is DaeJhanae, if I'm not mistaken. So she's definitely going to talk. It's going to be a cold winter. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely interested in this case. So definitely you guys should also be paying attention to what's going on, because I talk about traveling and how these laws don't cover you. As an immigrant in other countries. It's not like America where the laws cover you. But this will be interesting to see what they do, because they will prosecute a motherfucker. But yeah, this is crazy. We'll see how they handle it, and maybe she might come back to the States and get sentenced. Let's go.
I want to bring you new details in this morning in the death of 25-year-old Shaquella Robinson. A North Carolina woman was found dead last month while vacationing in Mexico with friends. Mexican prosecutors say Robinson was killed in a, quote, direct attack, not an accident, end quote. They're now trying to get an unnamed American woman extradited there to face charges. Lilia Luciano joins us now with the latest on this investigation. Lilia, great to have you on set. Good morning.
It's good to see you both. Good morning. This is such a terrible story, and it's a story that has gathered so much attention, especially after people started watching the videos that have emerged of Shaquella Robinson being attacked. She traveled to Mexico with 6 of her friends. Some of those friends initially on the phone, and once they got back to the U.S., told her family, her parents, that she died of alcohol poisoning. But then her death certificate listed her cause of death as a spinal cord and neck injury. Robinson's father told us many different things that are heartbreaking, but among those is that he wants to see justice, not just in terms of the person who directly attacked her daughter, but all of the friends who were there and looked by and filmed this attack as it was happening. Let's take a look at the piece, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it.
She was just a very, outgoing person. I mean, she loved people, just loved the friends that she was around.
Shaquella Robinson's father says his daughter's friends are to blame for the 25-year-old's death at a resort in Mexico in late October. Days after her death, a video too disturbing to show went viral, showing a woman beating Robinson, who was naked and not fighting back, while other friends watched and filmed nearby.
My daughter, she suffered, man. The last breath she took, she suffered. And they sit there and watch.
A local police report shows friends called for medical help just after 2 p.m., saying Robinson had, quote, drunk a lot of alcohol. When the doctor arrived and suggested she be taken to a hospital, she told police Robinson's friends refused and insisted on keeping her at the resort. Mr. Robinson says her friends called Shaquella's mother that night to say she was being treated for alcohol poisoning. An autopsy report released days later states Robinson died of a severe spinal cord injury and neck trauma at around 3 p.m. After her death, all 6 friends returned to the United States. Mexican authorities are now seeking the extradition of a single female suspect. John Jay College law professor Dmitry Shakhnovich says the process now lies in the hands of the U.S. justice system.
They will engage in their own due process to see if this person that is alleged to have committed a crime should be extradited.
What do you want to see happen?
I want the truth, man. I just want them to get back over there and tell the Mexican authorities why they did what they did. I can't even be a grandfather. I can't even walk down the aisle, man. The only thing I can do is cherish the moment that we had, the 25 years while she was here on this earth.
Robinson's death is now being investigated by Mexican authorities as a femicide, or the killing of a woman because of her gender. The FBI said that they have opened an investigation into her death, and at this point, it's still unclear whether those who witnessed the fight may also be in any form of legal jeopardy.
And there are so many strange components to this story. Can you expand the discrepancies between the initial police report and what was contained in the autopsy? Because there isn't a consistent narrative here.
Yeah, that's, there's a number of discrepancies. Of course, first, her friend saying that this was alcohol poisoning, calling her mom as she was in some form of distress, as she was getting medical attention, and telling her this is alcohol poisoning. When they go back to Mexico, from Mexico to the States, they maintain that story. But then days later, when the parents receive the autopsy, they say, wait a minute, there's something wrong. One thing that Mr. Robinson told me, too, that was really shocking, he says, when I went to the funeral home, and he was very grateful for the person in Mexico who helped bring his daughter home, who helped arrange for all that to happen. When he saw the state in which his daughter's body was, he knew that something else had happened. He knew something was wrong, and it could not be alcohol poisoning. He said she had a broken or busted lip, that she had other contusions. And so finally, when these videos start coming out, everything changes. But the main thing, the main discrepancy between the police report and the autopsy is the autopsy says she died at 3:15, 15 minutes after the attack or the injury.
Wow.
But the police report, that's the autopsy, the police report tells a whole timeline of a doctor who showed up at the hospital, who saw her, who started treating her, suggested that Shaquella be taken to the hospital. The friends apparently told this doctor, no, let's keep her here. And then hours go by, this doctor keeps working on her, giving her CPR multiple times. At some point, she starts convulsing. Later on, the doctor could no longer detect a pulse. And by 6 p.m., about 3 hours later, after the doctor arrived, is when she's declared dead. So those 3 hours are a huge question mark for the family and for everyone looking into this story.
So, Lilia, we keep saying friends, but clearly not friends. What do we know about these individuals who traveled with her?
Well, Mr. Robinson was telling me that they were college friends of hers, that they all showed up, or many of them showed up to the family's house. One in particular went to her mom's house and, maintained the story of alcohol poisoning and was there for the family, that they brought her luggage and cell phone back to the family. Like nothing, like there was no foul play or anything. And the moment the videos started popping up, started leaking, which may have leaked from some of those friends because they were the ones filming,
right.
It seems like, from what you see in the video.
I just don't understand,
Then they disappeared.
Right, why you would film it and not try to stop it, and B, have they identified that individual who we see in the video hitting her?
It sounds like that person is identifiable to the family, or at least to the group of friends, that it wasn't a stranger, that it was one of the friends. And, Mexican authorities now are seeking to extradite this person. As we know, of course, there are between 40 and 100 and something extraditions from Mexico to the U.S. Mexican officials in the past have said, look, it needs to go both ways, and the U.S. has to get better and speedier at extraditing people to Mexico. So now, that is in the hands of the U.S. legal system. There's multiple departments that participate in the process, but eventually, if a judge decides that there is enough evidence, she can be eventually, this woman, extradited to Mexico. Now, in that police report, or in the extradition report, Mexican authorities are saying we're still investigating to see if any other people were accessories or, participated in something like a cover-up.
Wow.
So it doesn't end with one person so far.
Wow. Lilia, always appreciate your reporting. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, both.
All right, for more on this case, let's bring in George Pirro. He's a former assistant director of the FBI's International Operations Division. George, you just heard the reporting there from our colleague Lilia. What kind of role can the FBI play in a case like this?
Good morning. As you know, the FBI has authority to investigate crimes committed against U.S. citizens abroad, as well as crimes committed by U.S. citizens. So in this case, the FBI would be supporting our Mexican authorities in determining the cause of death and the circumstances surrounding this particular, what appears to be a homicide. The FBI would provide everything from technical, evidentiary assistance that could help either the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office here prosecute or the Mexican authorities.
We should highlight the importance of what's known as Black Twitter as well. Shaquella Robinson's mother, in fact, says if it wasn't for folks online pushing for answers to these questions, it wouldn't have received the national attention it's getting now. George, from your point of view, now that things are really heating up, do you really consider this, because there's so much attention and we have extradition now being thrown around, that things are only just really getting started? And explain to us how the extradition process will work, since you've got the US and Mexico involved here on both sides.
As you can imagine, extraditing a U.S. citizen to a foreign country is a very complex and difficult process. And it's designed to be difficult to protect U.S. citizens. So the first step is the Mexican authorities have to reach the United States through diplomatic channels, provide sufficient documentation supporting the extradition. There are levels of review both at the State Department and then at the Department of Justice Office of International Affairs. If there is sufficient documentation or evidence to support the extradition, then it's forwarded to the U.S. Attorney's Office in the jurisdiction that has where in this case it would be in North Carolina, and a judge will review and make a determination. There are appeals, so I can tell you extraditions can be a long process. It's a long process.
So, George, you mentioned that the FBI does investigate crimes like this one. So if the Mexican authorities do not succeed in getting the suspect or suspects extradited back to Mexico to face charges here, so does that mean that they just go free? There's nothing that can be done here in the United States?
No, absolutely not. So there is a federal violation where an American citizen who commits murder overseas, and in this particular case, it's a murder of another American, can be charged in the United States. And the FBI has historically investigated those types of crimes and brought individuals to justice. So in this particular case, there would be significant cooperation and discussion between the Mexican authorities, our FBI office in Mexico City, and then of course in Charlotte, and the individuals responsible for the death could face federal charges in a U.S. court.
Which is, I know, what the family of Ms. Robinson want to see, those responsible brought to justice. George Pirro, thank you very much for your insight today.
Thank you.
All right, so here we go. Here's the website. Breaking news, DaeJhanae Jackson arrested in the United States. DaeJhanae Jackson was placed in federal custody, waiting for her to begin her extradition process to Mexico. San Jose del Cabo, Bajas, California, sir. During the night of November 28th, DaeJhanae Jackson was arrested by Interpol agents after a controlled judge issued an arrest warrant against her for the crime of femicide. of Shaquella Robinson, murdered on October 29th in the Cabo Villas complex in this tourist destination. DaeJhanae Jackson was placed in federal custody, waiting for her to begin her extradition process to Mexico, where she'll be formally accused of femicide of the 25-year-old businesswoman. Yes. All right, and let's slowly scroll down. Whenever I come to my senses and scroll down, the extradition process took between 1 and 2 weeks, resulting in the procedure that the Attorney General Office of Justice carried out in the Attorney General Office of the Republic. And in turn, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Mexico, the Attorney General's Office of the United States of Baja California Sur, managed to prove that the woman who appears in the video attacking Shaquella Robinson is indeed the woman that they've captured. Okay, so they're preparing a special report that will be published in the next few hours. Do not miss out on the latest news, because I definitely will be covering it. Now, I didn't expect that clip to end so quickly, but basically I'm giving you the gist of what was in that article. So, my thoughts on this, I like how these so-called passport brothers and all, every other 2 years, the manosphere start hijacking SYSBM and passport talking points and stuff like that. None of these people ever travel, and none of these people never seem to really be able to give you guys the real information when it comes to traveling. All these guys in the manosphere are talking about SYSBM. You haven't seen not one of them niggas on a plane yet. But it's not about that. It's really about, what I wanted to talk about on today's show. These laws do not cover you, as an American. It's not like America where immigrants have, rights and all these other different things that they can take advantage of. When you go to these other countries, you have other people from other countries going to these countries. Of course, you have the same thing in America, but it's a lot different when you go to these other countries. So usually they treat it as a foreign matter, They definitely treat it as a foreign matter. So when you go there to vacation and you act a fool and start killing people from your own country and stuff like that, they literally want us to handle it. But when it's something like this, like murder and something that went down on their grounds, definitely they will handle it, or they will leave it up to the federal government. So this woman right now is in the feds. She is going to tell. There's 6 other people and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I think I've mentioned before on a live stream, it was kind of better if, one of them turned themselves in. So even if they were guilty, I'm not going to say they're going to get anything lesser, but at least they made a noble move. It took them almost a month, like one day under a month to find this young lady in California. You know what I'm saying? So this story is definitely unfolding, is definitely interesting. Definitely support your boy by hitting the Cash App. Definitely doing some really good detective work. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got me in bed doing goddamn detective work. Been working a lot. So, definitely a super thanks or something will definitely be much appreciated. I will be covering this story. Hop down in the comment section, after I cover this story. Make sure you hop down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. I will be in the comment section, and I will be interacting, and I will be reading the comments and stuff like that. And you might be featured in the next video. Definitely, your questions may be answered or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But listen, man, it's player talk. We got a whole day ahead of us. We'll see how this turns out. But yes, DaeJhanae, the woman that was attacking Shaquella Robinson on that video, has been captured in California, waiting to be extradited back to Mexico. We'll see what they're gonna say, and then I don't know what's gonna happen to her there, if they're gonna make an example out of her, which I'm pretty sure they will. And she's in the feds at the moment, I guess, waiting to serve double justice, if that's a thing. This is why this is going to get interesting. Anyway, man, it's Player Talk Radio. Thank you guys for all the love and support. Definitely, let's keep it up. Let's get it. Let's go.